With the beta event currently on hold because of too much connectivity issues, and I can tell you there were a lot, I will give you in this video my short and concise review of the Paragon. I did try Paragon somewhat intensively, and I give you here my short and edited version of the stream parts where I tried Paragon, tried different builds in PvE and PvP, and want to showcase how strong it is, because I actually think it's surprisingly strong, and I had a lot of fun playing it, to be honest. As always, special shout out to all my dear supporters that helped me keep the lights on, and now without much further ado, let's jump straight in and take a look at Paragon. In the hype tier list, just before the beta, I actually put Paragon quite low. I thought the fantasy is not that fun, and yes, it might be good to some extent in competitive modes in PvE. It might not be absolutely busted, but I have to be honest, when I played it, it felt way stronger than it looked on paper. You can see here in the background, in the golem area, I tried the healing build that I suspected was like the main design. Tactics, discipline, and Paragon, of course, as traits. And just like the baseline build that they almost exactly showed us on the developer livestream already. And put on some Harrier pieces, you know, just the typical healing gear. And run Staff X Warhorn, something like that. It does not really matter too much. Oh boy, can I tell you. It is extremely high in healing output. It's like you can easily, really, I'm not joking, like just spamming buttons at this point. I was not like getting complete perfect rotations or something. I did not even know what the perfect rotation is. And I could stand here in the extremely damaging field in the golem area. And while also upkeeping, and I'm not joking, like almost all the boons. I have like 11 boons or something that I output permanently for my group. It's insane. By just mashing buttons, you know, I'm not following any rotation. I'm just mashing buttons. I just tried to build and wanted to limit test it. And it's really fun to play because of that, in my opinion. You know, having a build where you can just button mash and have some fun without being like too focused on everything, I think that's always very good as a support. When you have to be focused on a rotation and really try hard to get it done and be really sweaty, that's always a bad thing for a support, because you're in a real situation. It's often the case that it's chaotic and you just can't concentrate too much on the rotation. There's someone going down there, you need someone to give some stability at the other side of the map. So it's really important that a support is not quite flexible, and I really feel like Paragon is like that. You don't have to stick to a rigid rotation, and it's really crazy how much stability output you have. It's like almost permanent, and you can actually upkeep the meditation and chance like extremely well. I was actually really surprised how easy that is, to be honest. I had a lot of fun playing it, actually. I have to be honest, it still, don't get me wrong, it still feels like a little bit dull in terms of animation. There is like almost like no animation, it's just a shout animation. And then yes, you have the lead skill that gives you the yellow bubble, but that's about it. So if you're someone that wants to have flashy animations, look further. This is not the build. Yeah, this is definitely not the build for you. But if you just want to have gameplay that works, that is really strong and really, I don't know, it just feels somewhat fun because a lot of instant cast and fast attacks, I like it. I would definitely recommend it. And as soon as the beta event is like over, I think there might be some changes to the traits coming so that it's a little bit more interesting and more flexible, because right now I feel like the traits are just bad. So in that sense, you have like the traits that I chose for support, and then you have like 6 other traits that yes, you could choose, but like, come on, they are actually just like downgrades for like almost all support builds. And if you wanted to play a DPS Paragon, yes, you could, but the damage numbers are just really low, and it's just worse than Core Warrior for that, to be honest. So I don't know, it feels a little bit weak in that regard. But as a full support, I think it's really, really strong. When we are already at the topic, of course, this is just the first video in a series, so I talk about each elite spec that I test during the beta event, which will be all of them. But this is just the first one, Paragon, and so be sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to see all of them. And if you like this one, be sure to leave a like. But now let's talk about how Paragon compares to Healing Berserker, which is the next topic that I really bring up here, because obviously people always think, oh, Paragon is amazing as a support. But the biggest competition is within itself, within another warrior spec, because Paragon is I would say a decent support, a really good support actually, but Heal Berserker is really underrated. Quickness Heal Berserker is also really strong. You upkeep permanent 11 boons, you have really good healing output, and you have a lot of CC in the kit. It's even more spammy than the Paragon one, I would say. Maybe somewhat similar, to be honest, but it's very strong as well. And the important part on Paragon is you lose, I would say, a little bit of access to CC because the Heal Berserker plays it easily with mace. This one can't really play mace because you don't have access to your burst skills that easily. You know, you just have the F1 burst in the lowest level, whereas the Berserker can just spam the burst, the primal burst in mace, which is really nice to see as well. So I think, yes, you can play mace, but I feel it lacks a little bit of the flexibility there. What I also don't really like is that your utility slots are somewhat like not locked in, but somewhat close. You want to have 2 banners and you want to have some kind of adrenaline generating skill there as well. And then you can't bring that many CC skills. So I think the CC is a little bit lackluster on Paragon. But that's the important part. You get access to elite skill. The elite skill is absolutely busted. It's obviously really strong. You can give your allies invulnerability to not die. It's not like an invulnerability. You still take damage, but you can't go in down stat for the next 2 seconds. And you can actually extend it quite easily. So it's actually really, really strong ability. And this is the ability that made me first like predict there would be a DPS Paragon that just uses this ability to cheese some mechanics. I still think this is like a decent way to do it, but I think the DPS variant is just too low DPS to actually be worth it like that. I think the Support Paragon is the person that should take care of that mechanic, and I think it's really easy to use and really strong. So I think that's the go-to thing why you would pick Paragon over Heal Berserker. Heal Berserker, I think, is still very viable. I think a lot of people would rather go for Paragon as going for Heal Berserker, in my opinion, because it feels somewhat easier to play and also fits more the headcanon, I would say, in that regard. So I personally think Paragon actually was quite good. I actually was surprised how positive I like received it right now in the beta event. And if I get to it, I will try it a bit more. But of course, I have to cover all the other elite specs. So let's see how far I can get. But like I said, I also tested in PvP. And that was way more surprising than in PvE, to be honest. Because I really thought that in competitive modes, yes, you could play it as a support, but it would be somewhat like PvP, and especially like World vs. World supports, they are not like full glass cannon that are just healing the allies. Yeah, you also want to have some defenses in there. You want to have some other, obviously, boon output as well. So other just positive things that you bring to the table. It's just not just healing. And I was surprised how well Paragon worked in competitive modes as well. I tried PvP and it worked extremely well. It's like it has a lot of healing output. You're really hard to kill if you get focused because you have the invulnerability and you have just a lot of healing output. So if you have a team that peels you, it's actually surprisingly strong. Yes, you are just not as like defensive as a Spellbreaker. That's just a fact. But you still get really nice healing output, and that's the cool part, you have insane boon access for your allies and for yourself. It's actually crazy. Even in competitive modes, the boon access is like absolutely over the top. If you use a few of your skills, you have like at least 5 to 7 boons or so for your allies. This is crazy. No meta support can put that out like insane amounts and just passively around you instant cast almost all of them. It's crazy. So I would say it's a really strong support. I later played some matches against Paragons that played support, and it was really annoying to fight any team fights with them because they were just like, you don't even have to play it well because you just have passive boons, passive healing around you, and the allies of this guy were like unkillable, untouchable because they had so much healing on them. It's surprisingly strong even in competitive modes, and I can say I was surprised how much fun I had on it, just because it was so strong. I think the animations could still be like improved, of course, but I'm someone that enjoys the gameplay, and if the animations look perfect, even better, but if not, the gameplay is good, I still play it. So that's just my like review of Paragon after the first day of beta testing, but of course there are more tests coming up. So I hope you enjoyed this concise analysis, review, whatever you want to call it. Let me know your comments down below. I'm really interested to see what you have to tell me and about your impressions of Paragon. And let's hope the beta event continues a little bit smoother than it already started. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks again to all my supporters. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, and I hope to see you all in the next video.